Audition. Oh, there we
Yes.
go. There we go. Boom. Got it.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, Darren. Good job.
All right. That's amazing. Okay, so here's the deal with the show. Cade Alger is going to join us at 3:30. San Diego State former walk-on who earned a scholarship earlier in the month. He's going to join us coming up at 3:30. By the way, San Diego State's men's basketball team will be honored with Final Four rings Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. The reason we mention it, and I want to start here, is that, and you've heard this word being thrown around throughout the course of the season, because we literally, Jim, spent like 30 minutes off the top of the show yesterday trying to figure out what's wrong with the Padres and who to blame. Here's what's to blame. They got a culture problem.
Yes.
I mean, everyone agrees with that because nobody knows what's going on, so we can all agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something off with the Padres. That speaks
from day one.
That speaks to the culture, okay, specifically with this team.
Horrible culture.
And then you have, and we'll hear from Brian Dutcher in a little bit when he announced Cade Alger as a scholarship player earlier this month. Then you compare it to like literally across town on the Mesa, San Diego State's athletic successes, and you think specifically about San Diego State's men's basketball team getting to a national championship game. The thing that San Diego State basketball has that the Padres are sorely lacking is a culture. And here's how I know it. It's not eyewash. When I read Mark Ziegler's article about Cade Alger getting a scholarship, and in the article, in the final two paragraphs, Nathan Mensah called Cade Alger when he learned that he got a scholarship and said, hey, I wanted to let you know your 3 years of hard work as a walk-on didn't go unnoticed. Here's a guy in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets picking up the phone and calling a former walk-on that he's no longer even affiliated with. He's left the university and saying, hey, by the way, congratulations, and your work didn't go unnoticed. Do I think that's going on with the Padres right now? I don't.
No.
Right?
You're not seeing any of that. You're not seeing Xander and Manny hanging out outside of the clubhouse. You're not seeing, these Juan Soto and just like Fernando Tatis. You're not seeing any of that. It speaks to the problems with this team internally and throughout the entire organization, that when you don't have a cohesive organization from top to bottom, it trickles down onto the field. You might get lucky one year and overcome some stuff and win like they did last year. But as a whole, the entirety of this franchise is dysfunction. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me otherwise. You can't tell me that this team from the top down isn't a dysfunctional organization. You can't. Even with an NLCS run last year and the players that they've signed to massive contracts, it is a dysfunctional from the top down organization. And how do I know that? Because we have gone through now multiple seasons of the same crap over and over and over again.
Yeah, but we know it also from when we said this. We know we didn't even mention yesterday and all the things that have gone wrong. I don't think we mentioned the Nelson Cruz. Hey, what's wrong? Jake, what do you think's wrong? I can't figure it out. Hey, whomever, do you know what's wrong with this team? Like, the players are trying to figure out what's going on. Dude. Like, it's supposed to be really a bit of a top-down structure. Like, there should be a level of leadership, of course, internally as well. The players are leaders. You have leaders on the team. But it really should start at the top. And there you are, like, in the midst of your season. You got this veteran that's known as a leader in Nelson Cruz. He's in his first year with the organization. Yeah. He's asked what's wrong with the team. He's like, I got no idea. I have no answers for you.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that's a really bad look, isn't it?
It's so bad. You have a. I mean, frankly, I watched last night, and you'll hear it later in the show today, and I look at what the Phillies are doing right now, okay? Coming off of their run last year. They didn't have a great regular season like the Padres last season, and they had a run, and they made the World Series. They lost the World Series. And then the offseason, they made a big, huge, massive signing at shortstop, just like the Padres. They started out kind of average, and then they turned it on. Who is the leader of that team?
The leader of the team is Bryce Harper.
I think when you have a leader of your team like that, you can overcome a lot of things. Am I saying Manny Machado is a bad leader? That's for you to decide. I think that there are definite waves with Manny and definite waves with this entire organization. And you'll look at the Padres, and it's a, like you've said before, it's a captainless ship. The ship is adrift. Nobody can steer this thing around. And when you want someone and need someone to steer it around, and you look at that guy to do it, they can't do it. That's how it's been all year long.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, a couple of things. It's like when I make this, and we've made this comp before, this is not the first time either of us have made the San Diego State Athletic or San Diego State basketball comp to the San Diego Padres and be like, hey, there's something to learn from that. I get it. It's different. There's a difference in college and pro. There's a difference between baseball and basketball. We all understand it. But this team first idea applies to multiple sports and crosses from prep to college to pro. When I hear Xander Bogaerts saying, you know what, I don't like batting in that spot. I'm paraphrasing.
He said he
did
pretty much said that.
When I hear Juan Soto say, or the manager say for Juan Soto, he prefers a certain spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
Then I'm hearing a lot of me before team. And it's easy to say that when the team isn't good and they're now a low water mark of 10 games under 500. But we were saying it even before they got anywhere near this point. There were concerns even in April with this team, and there were concerning things being said by this team as early as April. And again, I go back to last year, and if you want to talk about from a sheer talent perspective, you want to have the talent conversation about the San Diego Padres compared to the expectations and talent for San Diego State's men's basketball team heading into the year, but it goes to show the value of team effort and team collective. Mm-hmm. San Diego State as a team reached the championship game in college basketball, where you have the Padres with all the resources, all the money, all the stardom, completely floundering. And why? Not just because they've had bad luck. It may be a reason why, but the reason they're floundering is because they are a captainless ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so who is that on? It's on the culture.
Yeah, the culture is not good. You can overcome it maybe for a season.
Yeah.
Which they did.
Potentially.
And to be honest with you, last year was also, I bet you, a lot of things in that clubhouse that we didn't know about. Like even Kevin Acee told us there were team meetings that he was told not to report on. So everything in that clubhouse last year wasn't as perfect as it may seem just because they went to the postseason and they made the NLCS run. When you win, you kind of overlook some things, and then when you make the postseason and you win a series, you're like, oh, okay, and they start pulling on the same rope. But to get there was a massive struggle. It just was. It wasn't easy at all. So with that being said, yeah, at the end of this year, there needs to be a full strip down of this entire organization from top to bottom. And when I say top, I mean Peter Seidler. Like it starts with him and it trickles down. Peter, AJ, every single person that works for AJ, every single player, every single coach, the manager, the bat boys, the strength and conditioning coaches,
definitely the bat boys,
the clubbies, like every single person. I don't care who you are in that organization. Maybe not the clubbies or the bat boys. They don't have anything to do with this. But besides them, everybody else in this organization needs to be stripped down and figure out what the hell is going on. Because look, I know we talk about the NLCS and you mention it and stuff, but dude, you have that thing sandwiched in between two absolute disasters. And frankly, you have it in the middle of 3 years, 2019, 2021, and 2023 being absolute jokes.
I mean, look at it this way. And to your point, I'm not saying Manny Machado isn't a good captain. You listening or watching, you allow yourself to go wherever you want with it. Yeah. But I will say factual statements like this, that Manny Machado in the second half of 2019, in his first year of a $300 million deal, hit 242 in the second half of the year. Mm-hmm. Manny Machado this year, and by the way, he may not be healthy. And it seems as if everyone is saying that right now.
Well, then he shouldn't be playing, but I digress.
He's hit 226 in the second half. Manny Machado has hit 226 in the second half of the season. And by the way, there are a lot of similarities between 2019, 2021, and 2023 down the stretch.
Absolutely.
Where we could pretend, and I heard Bob Melvin say a month ago, one thing I know that's not going to happen is we aren't going to quit. And look at what are they, 6-16 in the last 22 games with the last 2 days? I think that's right.
You had a 1-5 road trip.
6-16 in their last 22 games. They have 29 games to play. The only thing that's worth anything is, can you lose enough to finish with a top 6 pick? I kid you not. The only thing that is worth anything, and by the way, they won't do it. They will not finish with a top 6 pick. If they do, they keep it. If not, they drop down 10 spots. Not like it matters. Not like they've ever drafted LeBron James of baseball with a top 6 pick. You know what I mean?
Never.
It's not like they're getting these unbelievable players with these picks.
They have failed at every aspect of drafting and developing and keeping that player in the organization to help their team.
By the way, we have a big announcement at 3:45.
Oh, way to bury the lead.
Brent, do you realize that, or did you know that? Okay. That's how big it is. We didn't even tell Brent. We have a big announcement at 3:45. If you're listening or watching, do not go anywhere. Big announcement at 3:45. Cade Alger, on scholarship now at San Diego State, will join us coming up at 3:30. This was Brian Dutcher earlier this month. This wasn't yesterday. It was posted to social media yesterday. It was earlier this month. I mentioned the culture at San Diego State. Listen to the words used by Brian Dutcher. Listen to the excitement for a player who had spent 3 years in the program before getting this opportunity. This is Brian Dutcher. What do you have, Brent? Okay. Thank you for saying that. And now here's okay. So this is Brian Dutcher earlier this month announcing one of his non-scholarship players becomes a scholarship player.
And we're going to have one less walk-on this year. Cade, stand up. Cade, we're going to give you a scholarship this year. Everybody's on a different path. And like I said, my job as a coach is get you to be the best version of who you are at this point in your life. Because you're different as a fifth-year senior as you were as a freshman. I know that. So how good can you be as a fifth-year senior? How good can you be as a true freshman? It's trying to get the best out of each and every one of you every day. So the process starts today. There are no promises on the court. Whatever we did last year was great, and we'll remember it forever. But it will do us no good this year unless we put the work in. So the work starts today.
Hear that? No promises on the court, and anything we did last year is inconsequential to this year. Is that how the Padres came into this year? No promises, Stars. Mm-hmm. You bat where it's best for the team.
Yeah.
You pitch where it's best for the team. I mean, is that the way it's going? And again, it's different. It's pro and college, it's basketball, and it's baseball. Yeah. But have they been selfless, the Padres, or has there been a level of selfishness that has kind of sunk this team?
There has been a huge level of, selfishness going on with this team starting at the beginning of the year. It's just a horrible look on every single one of those players. You got players that just don't fit together. You have a GM who is, I don't know, he doesn't feel like he's ever around the team, and every move that he makes just does not work. Every signing that he has made does not work. It just, the culture of the Padres. And if I were to ask anybody, like, what is the identity of the Padres?
I would say spending. I would say a little bit of that, like gunslinging.
Recklessness.
Recklessness, which sometimes, by the way, can work. And other times it puts you in a gutter.
Yeah. And it worked last year to an extent, making the NLCS, beating the Dodgers in the postseason.
That was a high.
That was a definite high. But the whole thing in sports is, how do you, professional sports, how do you maintain that level for multiple seasons? Not just 1 year. It can't just be a flash in the pan. And right now, frankly, last year looks like it's going to be a flash in the pan unless they have a serious turnaround in the off season and make sure that Darvish doesn't have to get Tommy John surgery, which, by the way, I think all Padres fans are freaking out about, because you don't just see a Tommy John specialist for nothing. How is the health of Joe Musgrove? How are you going to fill the rest of your rotation? How are you going to fill the back end of your bullpen? How are you going to fill your bench, which has been the worst bench in all of baseball? How are you going to fill the catching position? Are you going to re-sign Gary Sanchez for a boatload of money? And if you do, who says that he won't come back next year and completely suck? Because every time you sign a player to a long-term contract for a bunch of money, that player comes back and underperforms at an all-time level.
All of that is for another day, because their offseason is filled with question marks, and the moves they have to make are going to be drastic considering where they are. At the end of the day, this Padres team, when you point at Preller, you can point at Melvin, people do. You can point at Machado, people do. You can point at Bogarts, Tatis, Soto. It goes on and on and on. And really, you're just pointing at the Padres. It's all pointed back. When you think about, like you said, consistent franchises in sports, nobody's comparing the Padres to the Patriots.
No.
Nobody's comparing the Padres to the Dodgers. Nobody's comparing the Padres to the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, they haven't won a championship recently, but they're consistently good. Mm-hmm. Nobody's comparing the Padres to the Golden State Warriors. Now, is there a path there? You'd like to think under Peter Seidler there may be.
Maybe.
But what is that path going to ultimately entail? And can you do it under this group of leaders, this front office, this group of players? I don't know the answer to that.
I just think that with how this franchise is constructed, with AJ Preller still as the president of baseball operations, and the construction of the roster with the players in that clubhouse, specifically the top guys, I do not see a franchise that can stabilize itself and become consistent. I just don't. Because if these players, the top guys, right, and Preller is remaining in charge, this is going to be an absolute roller coaster for the foreseeable future. And it might be better next year, but I wouldn't put it past them for the year after that to be another failure and train wreck, because the players that are in charge of that clubhouse and deemed leaders of the team and the president of baseball operations are all pretty much roller coasters in themselves. So that is how this franchise, to me, is. It's going to be a roller coaster for the foreseeable future until, frankly, there is change.
Remember my amusement park idea? How could you forget? It was a sports franchise amusement park where the ride was based on the team. So, the Yankees ride would be
championships,
or New York themed, like a Big Apple. But the Padres ride really would be the ultimate roller coaster. It'd be the biggest drop.
Yeah.
This has the longest drop in the entire park.
Straight 45-degree angle.
Yeah, exactly. Right off a cliff. The Padres ride of 2023.
Cav Scout in the chat says we would just all die at the end.
Dude, in 2023.
Yeah.
Cade Alger, now on scholarship at San Diego State. Really likable player. He's been with San Diego State for 3 years, including last year's national championship game run. He was a non-scholarship player. Now he's been put on scholarship, as you heard earlier. He's going to join us on the other side of this break. Plus, a show announcement at 3:45. We're calling it a big announcement. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right, Cade Alger will join us on the other side of a break. San Diego State men's basketball 3-year player non-scholarship, earning a scholarship last week. We'll talk to Cade up next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, they lost again today to the St. Louis Cardinals on a walk-off hit by San Diego's own Tommy Edman. Padres now have an off day tomorrow. Will not be a happy flight as they come home to take on the Giants and the Phillies coming up on their next homestand. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, we've got a show announcement for you coming up at 3:45 in about 15 minutes or so. Be listening for that. John and Jim with you on a Wednesday afternoon. I was thrilled when I saw this video on social media. This was from last week. Cade Alger, who was a non-scholarship player with San Diego State's men's basketball program for 3 years, including last year in the national championship team, earning a scholarship from Brian Dutcher. And Cade joining us right now on John and Jim. So, Kate, congratulations, man. It's great to have you with us. What was your reaction? Was this something you were expecting or not?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so, I mean, it was in the, it's every walk-on's dream to kind of, become a scholarship athlete and work your way up. And that's just kind of something I put my head down to do and put myself in the best position to earn that. And so, I mean, when you ask if it was expected, no, it was not expected. I told myself that, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. But I felt like the last couple of years, I did put myself in position to earn one of those scholarships. And having the twins leave and Jared, I really wanted the scholarship last year, as did the twins and Jared. And I feel like, we all deserved one if there was one. A lot of respect for those guys. And that's why, last year I couldn't be mad about it. I was like, they deserve it just as much as I did. And, with them leaving this year, it kind of did open up a spot for me. And so, me and Dutcher talked about it after the run we made last season. And so it wasn't the talks. But, yeah, so, I mean, I was very surprised. Don't get me wrong. There was nothing for sure. And when we met in the film room that day, that was a great surprise and a day that I'll never forget.
Cade, your family travels all across the country for all Aztec games. What was their reaction when you told them the news?
Oh, man, yeah. I wanted to call him right away, but we had weights right after practice that day, so I wasn't able to call him right away. But after we got done with weights, I called my dad first, and because my dad and my mom have kind of been in the loop about everything, and that's something they know I've been wanting to earn for a while. And when I told my dad, I kind of made it last a while. I talked to him for like 5 minutes before I even told him. So he's a little mad at me that it took me that long to tell him. But no, when I told him, he was just so excited. I mean, he was a little emotional, and it was just a cool moment to see, and how proud my dad was of me, and then calling my mom too, and the rest of my family. It was just I got so much support and love from past coaches, past teammates, and just fans and everybody else. So it was a really cool moment.
Yeah, I can only imagine with your family, like Jim said, really traveling, all over the country, specifically last March with San Diego State making that NCAA tournament run. Cade Alger's with us right now, 6'9" senior forward. So Cade, I mean, you really could have played elsewhere. You were in the transfer portal. You had an opportunity to earn a scholarship elsewhere. You didn't know this was coming. We're back into the upcoming season, essentially. It's only 2 months away. Why did you decide, regardless of what was going to happen with your scholarship, that you were coming back to San Diego State?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I had to think about. The first thing that I thought about was how much I love San Diego and my coaches and the school and everybody I've met down here. Just the culture here is amazing, and just all the memories I've had. So that was the first thing I really thought about. And the second thing I thought about, obviously, was just my basketball career. And I know I've always wanted to, put myself in a position to play basketball at a high level. And so that's kind of why I went into the transfer portal in the first place, just to kind of see what else was out there. And, that first day got a bunch of calls, and, I just kept thinking after every call, it was like, nope, that place ain't better than San Diego State. And it just kind of kept going and kept going. And I just kind of always thought back to all the stuff that, I've experienced here, and all the love that I've received here, and all the people that I've met here. And so it was really hard. And then the other thing was my units for school. I'm graduating this coming May with 2 years of eligibility left still, but only 24 units. So I knew that if I was going to transfer, I most likely wouldn't be able to graduate this year. So that was another thing I took into consideration. But the biggest thing was, it was just San Diego State, just the culture, the fans, the teammates, the coaches. I mean, everything all the stuff that I've learned here, it's been really cool. And the other thing was, I kind of felt like if I wasn't going anywhere else, I'd kind of be taking I didn't want to quit on myself. And I knew I wanted to earn that scholarship, and I knew it was still a possibility. So I decided to stay and ultimately achieve my goal.
Okay, you're talking about the culture there, and something that we both read is that Nathan Mensah reached out to you. What does it mean to you to have, a guy like Nathan, who was a big part of this team, starting on a team that went to the national championship game, defensive players of the year multiple times, leader of this team last season and while he was here, to have him reach out to you to congratulate you and say, like, I saw you work and you deserve it?
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I mean, me and Nate, he's been kind of like my big brother ever since I got here. Having to guard him every day in practice, and him giving me bruises and bumps, and all the hard work he put in the gym, and just battling every day, and just to have him call me and tell me that my work didn't go unnoticed and that I deserved that scholarship. It was really cool. And yeah, man, me and Nate have a great relationship. I've lived with him for a year, and then so I mean, Nate's always been there for me, just like I'll always be there for him if he ever needs anything.
Cade Alger with us right now, the 6'9" senior forward for San Diego State, back this upcoming season and on scholarship. With us on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. When people do ask you, though, about San Diego State's basketball culture, what do you say, or what makes this program unique?
I just say, talking about the team first, in terms of the culture on the team, you're just surrounded by a bunch of guys that, really buy in. And that's just kind of the culture. I mean, before I even got here, just the amount of work that the guys put in on the San Diego State basketball team is something that's pretty unheard of, in my opinion. And just also, you're surrounded by a bunch of guys that just genuinely love each other. High school, going into my first year of college at Seattle, you're always surrounded by different teams every year, and every team has their own identity. And I know last year, like, we had a team who just genuinely just enjoyed being around each other. And that was in practice, after practice, in the hotel rooms. I mean, just going out and getting food all the time. I mean, we just genuinely enjoyed being around each other. And then if you talk about the fans, man, I mean, it's just really cool to see how much support you get at this school. Like when that video was posted yesterday, I mean, the amount of fans that, congratulated me and said they were so happy for me. And I don't even play a lot. And so it was really cool to see, how many people really know who I am and genuinely care about me, and just all the fun stuff that comes with it.
And coming off a national championship run, lot of players returning from last year's team. How so far do you guys, feel about this team going into this year and the expectations coming off a national championship run with a lot of players returning from that team?
I'm really excited for this year's team. Like I was just saying, every team's different. And I feel like this year, offensively, we are super talented. And summer's always kind of, a weird time. You're working out all the little stuff and, messing up quite a bit here and there and just, kind of starting back over. And I think this year's team, we got a really good group of guys that really work hard. And I think we're going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. And I think we can ultimately make another deep run in the tournament this year.
Cade, do you realize that you're being honored with the basketball team this weekend at Snapdragon? I'm not sure if the team's aware of that or not.
Wait, what?
Do you know you're receiving Final Four rings this weekend against Idaho State at Snapdragon?
Yes, we just found out that a few days ago.
So, I mean, you guys got to, when it comes to rings, everyone wants to have banners, rings, be memorialized for forever with the program. How special is it going to be on San Diego State's first ever Final Four team and to get a chance to see those rings? Yeah, man. I mean, my emotions right now, I'm just very excited. I can't wait to see those rings and, be with the guys. That big run we had there, just being around them, hanging out with them, and all, just have that same feeling together. And, but I also know that I'm not going to know exactly what the feeling is until I actually see that ring in front of my face. So I'm sure once I see that ring, the emotions are going to be pretty wild. So. What a year. But again, as Dutch said in that video that was circulated on social media that you're referring to, what happened last year is in the past. And now the hard work that goes into it this year will determine how good this upcoming season is going to be for San Diego State. Cade, congratulations. You've earned it. 3 years at San Diego State. Scholarship player here in 2023-24. Thank you for doing it. Best of luck getting ready for the season, and we'll do it again soon.
All right. I really appreciate you guys for having me on.
All right. Cade Alger. Again, San Diego State senior forward. Cool stuff.
Very cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. On the other side, more cool stuff. Our show announcement. Am I going too far, Jim, to call it big?
It's large.
Okay. A large show announcement. On the other side of this break, we have tickets to give away today, don't we? We do. San Diego State football tickets.
Bum, bum, bum.
Speaking of San Diego State basketball being honored with the Final Four rings this Saturday, you can win tickets to that game. Stay with us. We'll give those away between now and 6 p.m. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. 7:30 Saturday night, Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego State, Idaho State, a game that can be heard right here on San Diego Sports 760. Large announcement next. Hey guys, it's Schaefer. I was over at Windmill Farms earlier today, and with the red and black back of the gridiron, you have to get over there. Windmill Farms, the college area's natural grocer, right by San Diego State, maybe a half mile. They're offering 20% off any order of $25 or more through September 3rd. That's through Sunday. Great offer, 20% off any order of $25 or more. All you have to do is mention football at checkout. Again, mention football at checkout. Whether you're tailgating at Snapdragon, maybe you're at home, you're in your dorm, Windmill Farms has you covered for all of your game day needs. They have spectacular food. I picked up some sandwiches earlier today. They have organic, farm fresh produce and meats. an amazing craft beer selection, kombucha as well, plus a full deli with amazing award-winning sandwiches. Remember to mention football. You're going to get 20% off your entire cart. Head over to Windmill Farms in the College area, the natural grocer. Again, 20% off your entire cart of $25 or more. Mention football now through Sunday or visit windmillfarmsmarket.com. All right, we've got San Diego State football tickets to give away. We'll do that. Let's say we'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. Okay.
I like that.
San Diego State football tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. Whoa. Oh, then why don't we do this? Trainwreck Radio and 5 o'clock hour. Trainwreck Radio in the 4 o'clock hour. And you know what? Forget what I just said because we have a large announcement right now.
Large announcement.
Segment, we're giving away San Diego State football tickets for our listeners and viewers. Now, we have a culture here at John and Jim.
We do.
Which means I'm going to let you make this announcement.
What? Me?
All right. So we have what I'm referring to. Actually, Jim said it was a large announcement. I said it was a big announcement. Jim will make the announcement.
I have gone to see a allergy specialist.
Oh, thank the Lord.
I will not be sneezing anymore.
Incredible.
The sneezing is gone.
Now people are saying, are you having a child?
I am not having a child. No.
Am I having a child?
You are not having a child. We are not pregnant.
No.
John, this is not between.
We are not pregnant.
We are not pregnant.
Yes, we are not.
The big announcement is that today, me and John officially signed a brand new 2-year contract through 2025.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Thanks to you guys.
Yes, thank you. We are remaining here on San Diego Sports 760, John and Jim.
We're not going anywhere.
We ain't going anywhere.
We're staying right here.
We're staying right here.
Through at least 2025.
For at least 2 more years.
Talking San Diego sports.
And the Padres.
We're talking Padres. We're talking Aztecs. And we're only able to do this because of you.
Yeah.
Our listeners and our viewers, and we wouldn't still be here or have this opportunity without you. We said from day one when we got on the air 2 years ago to do this show, we wanted to do it for you. Anyone could talk about Trey Lance. Jim does, right? Anyone could talk about national sports topics. It's done every single day in every single market in the country. To truly hit San Diegans was the goal. To speak with them every single day. You guys have been overly receptive to it. And because of you, we'll be here for at least 2 more years.
Yes.
3 years from now, can't guarantee it.
Can't guarantee that, but through 2025, John and Jim will be on the air 3 to 6 in San Diego on San Diego Sports 760.
There are so many people to thank, but really just Brent.
I want to thank Brent, and I want to thank who else do I want to thank? I want to thank myself for this one.
Exactly. You should.
Without me,
this wouldn't be possible.
This would not be possible. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, the John show doesn't really maybe appeal that much, but John and Jim, on the other hand,
it's huge.
John and Jim is huge.
It is funny though. Like real quick, it's like, all right, we both have like most people, like we have different backgrounds, right? Like the fact that Jim and I even got here at the same time is somewhat interesting. I had worked in minor league baseball. I don't know if you had realized that.
I did not.
You had actually worked for the Padres Radio Network for a period of time.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, you took if I'd never went across the street when I did 4.5, almost 5 years ago,
then I never would have even maybe moved to San Diego. To be honest,
would have never been in sports talk radio because you took over my job when I left producing Mark and Rich.
So you kind of got Wally pipped by me, but not really because maybe I got Wally pipped by you because we worked together.
I never. Yeah.
Right. So you were producing the Mark and Rich show.
I was producing that
left.
Show. I left.
That's soft. You're like, this show's not good. I'm leaving.
Like, yeah.
No, you love Rich.
Yeah.
And I think Mark.
Maybe.
Then I all of a sudden show up out of nowhere for minor league baseball. Brent's like training me on the board. I'm like, I have no clue. And he can attest to that.
Yeah.
And then we start covering the Padres in 2020, literally during the pandemic.
Yep.
Doing the wrap-up show.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, if you were here for the wrap-up show before YouTube, we did the wrap-up show on radio in 2020 and 2021.
That was the time.
Then after the 2021 season, they're like, hey, we like this show. Our bosses are like, let's put it on the radio from 3 to 6. So that's what we've done for the last 2 years. And then they're like, you know what? Let's run it back. Let's do 2 more years.
Run it back. See, unlike the Padres, who potentially might run it back, which will be probably a disaster.
Right. This could be too.
It absolutely could be. They came to us and said, look, do you guys want to run it back for another 2 years? We said, abso-freaking-lutely.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, honestly, it really is. I never thought I'd have a chance to do sports talk radio in San Diego. I mean, that was never, ever in my wildest imagination.
Well, that was
on my radar.
That was like my dream when I moved here. Like when I moved here back in 2010, I was like, oh yeah, I want to be in sports talk radio, but I never knew how I was going to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing led to another. Got an internship here. Like I started as an intern here.
Aren't you still?
Yeah, exactly. That's the contract I signed today is internship on John
2
and
more
Jim.
years of summer internship.
Yes, summer
credit for Jim.
internship. Yes, I am living off of Jersey Mike's gift cards.
I honestly think the way I got a job here is when our former program director interviewed me. He's like, "What do you want to do?" He's like, "Do you want to be a sports talk host?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And he's like, "Perfect, you're hired." And then I kind of fell into it. And honestly, I was a play-by-play guy, but I've fallen in love with sports talk.
Mm-hmm.
I love play-by-play. And I didn't know if I'd love sports talk, but it's like it's the best of everything. You get to do it every single day.
Yeah,
Get to talk to San Diegans about sports every single day. What's better than that?
I tell people that my job is to watch sports and talk about it.
Yeah,
that's kind of you're living the dream. So yeah, thank you to everybody out there that watches us on YouTube, listens to us on the radio, supports us through whatever avenue that you support us through, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. Thank you for supporting, and we'll be here for you for the next 2 years.
crazy. It really is. All right, here's what we're going to do to celebrate with you. Caller 7, you've got 2 free tickets to Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. 844-570-1360. San Diego State, Idaho State. The Aztecs looking to get to 2-0. San Diego State's men's basketball team will be honored and receive Final 4 rings. 844-570-1360. Caller 7, you have 2 free tickets. Tune in Saturday at 5:30 with our pregame coverage. Ted and Rich on the call at 7:30. On the other side, what time is it? Oh, it's the end of the 3 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, where are we in the
What's
show?
going on?
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the wrap, of course, for you on the other side. We have more Aztec football tickets to give away in the 4 o'clock hour. We have tickets to give away for another event, the summer block party,
We just
in
have
the
tickets
5
on
o'clock
tickets
hour.
on tickets.
By the way, the Padres lost the series to the Cardinals.
Oh, they did?
They did. Hour 2, John and Jim, here for another 2 years. Next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres lost the final game of the 3-game series versus the Cardinals today. Tommy Edman hit a walk-off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th inning off of Josh Hader. Padres have an off day tomorrow before they come home for a homestand against the Giants and the Phillies coming up this weekend. And tonight is the Brady Hoke Coaches Show, 6 p.m.
Yeah, see, the show won't change, I promise.
No, it's not changing. You thought it was going to change with the new contract?
It's not getting better.
It's only going to probably get worse. 6 p.m. tonight. Exactly. Coach Hoke, John, and Rich will be doing the show. This update has been brought to you by Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 2 of John and Jim. If you're wondering whether the new deal is going to, are we going to start slacking off now that we've got this new 2-year deal? Jim already has been slacking off for 2 years.
Yeah, nothing's changing.
Nothing's changing, right? So there's some of the comments, by the way, 70470 started with team on YouTube, on social media are very comical, by the way. Who commented that Preller would have offered us a 12-year deal?
Yeah, Rich McGuire is like, yeah, Preller probably would have offered you like a 12-year Manny deal. Exactly. I like Darnay's tweet. It was like, I'm glad the announcement, second part of it wasn't like this, and it was the Clevenger, like, oh, Clevenger signed a new 2-year deal. Oh, by the way, his Tommy John surgery is out for the season.
John and Jim will be back for 2 years. Oh, by the way, they've been suspended for a year and a half.
We aren't going to be on the air for the next 3 months.
So anyway, if you missed it again, we've got a 2-year deal. We're with you through at least 2025. The idea of spending every single day from now through 2025 with Jim is a little overwhelming.
I am a little overwhelmed. Yes.
We'll discuss 2026 in the future.
Right. But until now, the next 2 years, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh, by the way, Jim's off for like a week.
Oh yeah, I'm leaving Friday, so
all good. We have tickets to give away to San Diego State football. We'll do that this hour during Trainwreck Radio. Someone needs to help me with I probably should do this off air. Summer Block Party features who?
Do it. No, hold on.
I think it's Jodeci.
Jodeci?
Okay, so we have a pair of tickets to the Summer Block Party featuring Jodeci. Would you have known that?
Of course I would have.
Okay. Jodeci and SWV, which is like, isn't that like no, that's a large, SUV is a large vehicle. Okay, so Jodeci and SWV. This is Sunday.
I'm just letting him go.
At the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listening for your chance to win. Those tickets we'll give away in the 5 o'clock hour.
Good job.
Yes. Please do. All right. And remember, don't play it on the stream. Okay, so this hour, we've got those tickets to give away. We have the rap to get to. Do you want to get to the rap?
Yeah.
Or do you want to play this song first, Brent?
I kind of want to play the song first.
Okay. This show's all over the place.
It is all over the place. We are flustered, just like the Padres. That's what we did for our contract negotiations. We said, look, if you want a train wreck every day, we're your guys. And they said, where do we sign up?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right, and the beat kind of is familiar.
Oh, nice.
Okay, that's why.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Well, if you'd like to see SWV Sunday along with Jodeci, stay with us. We'll give those tickets away in the 5 o'clock hour. By the way, Cade Alger is no longer with us. You have him on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, I had that the whole time?
Yeah. Nice.
I'm an idiot.
You really are.
So for our show announcement, I said Cade
Alger is joining us.
Oh, man, I'm a stupid idiot.
Some things never change. Let's get to it.
I already signed.
Do the Aztecs need to win big on Saturday against Idaho State?
I think so. They won 37-7 last year?
38-7.
38-7 last year. But here's the caveat to that. I went to that game. I watched the whole thing. It did not look like the final score showed it. The offense was not good. They couldn't move the ball. They scored, I think, a couple touchdowns off defense and maybe one special teams touchdown.
Right.
And they ran the ball pretty good, but still the offense had a lot of problems. I want to see a 38-7 win this Saturday, but with the offense scoring like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see balance. I want to see the passing game. I want to see the run game. I don't want to see one-dimensional, which we did see a year ago. I think they ran for nearly 400 yards in that game. I think they're very capable of winning this game big, with all due respect to Idaho State. I mean, it's an FCS program, first-year head coach, something like 60 or 70 new players this year. I don't know if they need to win big. I think you feel better heading into UCLA. I feel like, Ohio, check. Idaho State, 35-0 or 42-7 type win. I think you'd have a good feeling about where you are heading into UCLA. If this is a 20-10 game this weekend against Idaho State, maybe you'd feel differently. Potentially. Next question.
Which of the big four do you think will have the best season in 2024?
I'll just say Manny, because he has these roller coaster seasons, and after bad years, Manny usually comes back and has good years. So I'll just go with Manny on that one. If you look at his track record, the last 5 seasons, it's bad year, good year, bad year, good year. We're on a bad year. So next year, I'm going with law of averages. I'll say Manny Machado.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to say Fernando Tatis Jr. Pulls the Acuna year where he wasn't great off injury with Tatis suspension as well. And then he bounces back and just puts everything together. And he's capable because what is Tatis right now? Is he 24? So he'll be 25, I think, next year. I think Fernando Tatis could have something like a 1,000 OPS year. He will again at some point in his career. He's shown that previously. So I'll say, yeah, Manny can be consistent. I think Manny bounces back, but I think Tatis has the big year. Next question.
Pick one NFL Week 1 upset.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Do you want to go first? Hold on.
Week 1. I mean, not that we have the lines in front of us, but we can figure it out.
I'm gonna go with. I don't know if this is considered like a big time upset.
I have the lines in front.
Okay.
I'll go Browns over Bengals.
Browns over Bengals is a big time upset.
Bengals are favored by 2.5. That's in Cleveland. Joe Burrow finally started practicing today, but his calf injury kept him out all of training camp and preseason. I'll just say the Browns. Whatever.
Are the Jets a home dog to the Bills on Monday Night Football?
Let me answer that for you. Yes, they are.
2.5.
All right, I'll take that. I mean, I don't really have a lot of faith in it, but everyone's gonna be talking about Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Monday Night Football. Can they cover 2? Do they win outright? They very well could. Can they cover 2.5? Absolutely. I'll take the Jets at home.
By the way,
week 1.
When was the last time the Bears were favored against the Packers?
Probably when Brian Urlacher was there.
Because the Bears are favored against the Packers in week 1.
Do you know why?
Because they don't have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he left.
Because it's Jordan Love.
Did you hear?
Breaking news.
For the first time in like 40 games, probably in the matchup. All right, next question.
How concerned are you guys with the health of Darvish after he visited with a Tommy John specialist? I'm sure they're just talking about Ahsoka or something.
I am very, 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 very concerned.
Very, 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 very concerned.
But, when you go and see a Tommy John specialist after you've already had Tommy John surgery and you say it's like an elbow thing. Yeah, dude, I'm concerned, especially because he signed a 6-year contract extension and his contract would have been up this year, but no, he got $100+ million. And the way that this rotation looks next season, like you need Darvish to be really good. You need Darvish to be the Darvish of next year.
Okay, I mean, you should be concerned because any elbow injury for a pitcher could be significant, but I'm not going to be overly concerned until I find out he needs Tommy John. At that point, it changes really everything. You don't even know if he bounces back from that because he's already had Tommy John, has he not?
He has 2015.
So that's been for forever, obviously, but just because he's seeing a specialist doesn't mean he's going to have Tommy John.
No, it doesn't.
And you're right, though. I mean, they need him to bounce back, and they just need him. Musgrove, Darvish is an absolute.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you need the 55, 60 starts there.
Mm-hmm.
Then Waka, Lugo, maybe some combination thereof. And then, if you had those 3 or 3.5, you'd feel half decent.
Who even knows if Waka and Lugo are going to be back, though?
Nobody, but most of these rotations aren't fully set.
No, they're not. I just am looking at the certainties with this rotation. And right now, it is way up in the air for me. Like, if you're going to end the year, which I'm assuming this is going to happen, with both Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove on the IL because of arm issues, going into the offseason and next year with those being your number 1 and 2 guys.
Okay, but are they arm issues, or if you're watching on YouTube, are they arm issues? Right, quote unquote. Because if this team was opposite record, are they pitching in September? And I don't know.
Dude, when Musgrove went down, John, they were 1 game under 500. That's not a like, hey, you might want to just not pitch for the rest of the season. That was a moment in time when they were still considered, quote unquote, in it.
Yeah, but now they're not. But as he works his way back, that day, I'm with you. I think what you're saying, well, that day, we're thinking, yeah, you're going to need him. If you can get him, you're going to need him.
Yeah.
But now 10 games under.
Oh, yeah, you're not. You hope that he doesn't pitch again.
Right. But if they were 10 over, I'm just asking the question, like, is he hurt? Or will he be fully healthy for 2024?
I don't know.
Same thing with Darvish.
Yeah.
Would he be healthy for the postseason in 2023 if they were 10 games over 500? And we don't know.
I don't know. Let me ask you this. Who are you more concerned about going into next season, Darvish or Musgrove?
Darvish.
100%.
Well, for 2 reasons. Age, effectiveness. Musgrove, when he pitches, has been basically the same pitcher for 3 years as a Padre. Consistent, 3 ERA, workhorse, inning eater.
Consistency must be nice.
Right? That's like the one thing he has provided. You're right. Because they have a lot of guys that aren't consistent. Darvish has had great stretches. He's been among the better pitchers in baseball at times as a Padre. He's also had really bad stretches like this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. We can talk about the WBC. I don't even know. Maybe he's older. Maybe he hasn't been as effective. Maybe there's a number of reasons. So, yeah, I'm concerned about Darvish. I can't worry about I can worry about all of their elbows.
Mm-hmm.
From Musgrove to Darvish to Waka to Lugo to Hader to Suarez to whomever. I got to just trust that they get this thing right. Now, you're right. If we get the Clevenger tweet, hey, Darvish signed an extension. It's only $1 a year for years 7, 8, 9. But, oh, by the way, he's having Tommy John.
Yeah. John and Jim signed an extension. Oh, by the way, Jim's missing the next 3 months.
Right.
With a vocal cord injury.
Which will definitely happen at some point.
Honestly, people would actually probably want that.
Like,
prefer
yes.
that. Like, it's gone. He is gone. We love it.
Dude, like you said earlier, and here's the beautiful thing about the offseason. We have forever to talk about the Padres in the offseason. They're not playing into October like last year where we had the shortened offseason, and we still had forever. There's plenty of time to talk about, are Musgrove and Darvish healthy? What are they going to do with this bench? Are the big four going to bounce back? Who's your closer?
Mm-hmm.
Who replaces Blake Snell?
And this will be the first, off season. When was the lockout? Lockout was after the 2021 year, right? Or no, it was after 2021.
Is that right? It was heading into last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was because Luke Voigt was on the team. And okay. So
yeah, it's crazy.
This is the first coming up here, I guess, besides this last offseason. First offseason in a while that there's been a lot of question marks going into the offseason, a lot of anger from the fan base, a lot of pieces that have to be discussed, potentially a new manager since really 2019. That's the last time, because 2019, the way that thing ended and that offseason, and then getting Jace Tingler, like wait,
yeah,
who's this guy?
I remember that day vividly.
It just, that whole offseason was like, whoa. But they did trade for a couple pieces, and then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, what now?
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously that offseason wasn't anything. I mean, you got the Darvishes and you got the Musgroves and the Snells that offseason, but It's been a while since you've had for this franchise an offseason with this many question marks going in.
I mean, I think it's fair to say, and it's maybe, whatever's most like recency bias, but I think it's pretty fair to be like, it's their biggest offseason like ever. With this payroll commitment,
Deja vu.
with AJ Preller's future, I don't know if it's in the balance or not, with Bob Melvin's future in the balance. Like it's massive. You can't have a repeat in 2024 of 2023. If I would have told you in 2020 that a repeat of 2019, it didn't feel as consequential. They didn't have the big four at that time. They didn't have a $250 million payroll at that time.
Man, the way that you just framed everything there, I got massive flashbacks.
To what? End of 19 or 21?
End of 21. Like everything
biggest offseason ever.
Everything you said there is applied to the after the 2021 season, and you just replaced Melvin with Tingler. Like all of the things you just said there is exactly what this team was going through at the end of the 2021 season. Question marks with AJ Preller, question marks with the manager, a massive letdown during the season. You have a lot of question marks in the offseason because at the end of that year, Blake Snell got injured and Yu Darvish both were injured. They didn't finish that season.
Right.
You had to figure out what the pitching was going to look like because you finished the year with Vince Velasquez and Jake Freeman pitching games for you. I cringe because we all said that offseason, this can't happen again. And it happened again at a
2 years later.
Bigger level and a bigger disappointment just 2 years later.
But let me ask you this. Do you feel better
No.
about the construction of the team heading into this offseason than you had heading into the 2021-22 offseason before the 22 season? Like I do, because everything you just said, I was like, wow, man, those are a lot of question marks. Yeah, there's a million question marks here. What that team literally didn't have heading into last year was Fernando Tatis Jr. or Xander Bogart or Bob Melvin.
Well,
although he may not be back. Obviously.
No, they did have Bob Melvin last year. That was the first time he managed with the team.
I was saying at the end of 2021, I'm comparing question marks. Like, were there more question marks coming out of 2021 or 2023?
Okay. Let me just talk this through real quick. The end of 2021, when they hired Bob Melvin.
Sure.
That was fairly quickly. It was before the end of the season. Right. It was before the lockout happened.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at that moment,
you had confidence.
I had confidence because that was before we found out what happened with Tatis. That was a time where they still had Blake Snell under contract and Yu Darvish. Now, I think the Yu Darvish thing was like the hip thing, right? So it wasn't an arm thing, and it wasn't like he was going to see a Tommy John specialist and potentially getting Tommy John surgery to miss a full year. So honestly, yeah, I would say I had more confidence in 2021 because they had way more flexibility than they do now.
Yeah, I mean, that is scary. I mean, there's no way to look at I was thinking, hey, maybe I have more confidence coming out of 2023. But the truth is, anyone you talk to, and we've had people on from Fangraphs like Dan Szymborski, like, yo, look at the numbers. Like, forget about the chemistry and the culture. Look at the numbers for 2024. They don't support a team that's actually going to play, overwhelmingly better. Not to say that they should go 70-92. Like, what's this team going to go? They could go 70-92. As crazy as that's, I mean, that's utter craziness. But they could do something like that. Now, the numbers for next year aren't going to support 70 wins. They're going to be better than that. But they're also not going to support 90 wins. And by the way, the math keeps getting tougher with each passing year with all these long, large deals. So, yeah, I mean, someone's responsibility is putting a winner on the field in 2024. It's not mine. It's not yours. Right now, it's AJ Preller's and Peter Seidler's. And there is real work to be done to do that. And it's a lot more than, hey, we lost again in extra innings yesterday. Hey, we blew a lead with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th inning today in St. Louis. That's like in the micro. The macro stuff is, how do you field a competent winning team a year after this? They did it in 2022 off 21. Can they do it in 24 off 23?
I have an idea. Run it back.
You could run it back. Run it back.
You literally cannot run it back. Because running it back would mean you would need to re-sign Blake Snell and re-sign Josh Hader.
I like it.
Okay. That would and have Bob Melvin still be the manager. That would be running it back. You're not going to do that. They're just they can't. They can't run it back. So if anybody tells you, hey, just run it back, we're not going to be as unlucky as we were this year. I don't know what you're talking about because they physically can't because they have too many pieces on this roster that are up in the air right now.
There is no literal running it back.
Gary
Of course they'll have
Sanchez,
changes. Of course they'll
pitching.
have. Now, with all that being said, and I'd have to look it up. I should have it. Last year in one-run games, they were good. Right? I forget what it was. 19-6. This year, they're awful. Like worst in baseball history awful. Like that bad.
They're now 6-22.
6-22. They're winning at what percent is that? 6 divided by 28 is they're winning at under a 250 clip.
The worst, yeah.
Ever. Like ever. 0-11 in extras is the worst since the 1969 Expos. They don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how bad this has been. So does it change next year? Now, to your point, you're going to hate it when they say, listen, we went 0-11 in extras at 6-22 in one-run games. We think we got a good team.
I know. I'm going to hate it.
You're going to lose your mind.
I will lose it on the radio when the tweet comes out, or X, whatever we want to call it, about Bob Melvin stepping away or whatever the case may be. I'll lose it. And I will say AJ Preller 100% has to be fired, and he deserves and needs to be fired. If those things happen, another opportunity to hire another manager, like give me a break, dude. Give me a break, and it's going to happen. And my level of confidence that we're going to see that is fairly high. It's not 100%, but it's pretty close.
I think Kevin said again this morning, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. That it's hard to see, and he said this with us
multiple times.
It's hard to see Bob Melvin back.
Yep, Darren has said it. AC's told us multiple times. Dennis Lynn has said it on with Darren. This isn't just one person speaking about this. This is multiple people, and multiple people in the know. And if they're telling you that they view it as a highly unlikely situation that he returns next season, I tend to go with what they're telling us is true. And unfortunately, if that's the case, that is a horrible look on AJ Preller, and shame on Peter Seidler if he doesn't realize how bad of a look this is and how this guy does not deserve to hire another manager if this happens.
On the other side, will you be watching in September? We'll give you our top reasons why we'll be watching.
Yes.
All right. Why to watch Padres baseball this September. Plus, this hour, your chance to win those tickets to see San Diego State Saturday night against Idaho State. We'll do that during Trainwreck Radio. We have tickets in the 5 o'clock hour to give away. Summer Block Party featuring Jodeci and SWV. Sunday at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Why we're watching the Padres this September. Next. All right, why we're watching the Padres this September. Why are you? That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres lost again today on another walk-off by the St. Louis Cardinals. They return home for a homestand versus the Giants and the Phillies starting tomorrow night at Petco Park. And tonight, 6 p.m. is the Brady Hoke Coaches Show with John, Rich, and Coach Hoke right here at 6 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. And this update's been brought to you by Staples.
All right, John and Jim back with you. Trainwreck Radio for Aztec football tickets in about 15 minutes. We have tickets in the 5 o'clock hour to the summer block party featuring Jodeci and SWV. That's Sunday, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll give those away in the 5 o'clock hour. So we were thinking today, following another just brutal finding ways to lose loss, which is what the Padres have done all year. I mean, this thing was excruciating.
You want to know what? So this is what happened today. This is right before I left for work.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like right at 2 o'clock. And I had the game on in my room and I made the bed and I went to the bathroom.
You made the bed at 2 p.m.
I wake up and I don't make the bed till I leave.
At that point, maybe don't even make it.
I don't shower until noon.
Yeah.
Fair. Guilty as shower. Well, that's because I don't work until 3. Sometimes I shower at like 2.
Jim don't get out of bed until 10. So
true.
Honestly, real quick, I don't believe in like making the bed every day. You're just gonna mess it up.
Either do I. Kristen does though.
You're just Aaron does too.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna mess it up later that night. Just put the sheets on the bed. Make sure the pillows are on the bed and you're fine.
What's the purpose of ever? Why do anything? You're in this thing every single night.
Right.
What's the purpose here?
I don't
who
understand
are we making it for? No one else is visiting our room.
No.
I do it because the bed's the only piece of furniture I have.
So
I
you
have
sit
to
on
sit
it.
on it.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
True. Okay, it makes sense. But I am the type of person that I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. But I make it.
What's your point here?
My point is
I made the bed.
Making your bed. 70470. Start your message with team. Do you make your bed every single day?
844-570-1360.
This is why we got a contract extension.
Yeah.
Making your bed talk.
I like that. I like that take.
But
It's
anyway, I went to the bathroom.
That's great.
And I came back to the room and it was a commercial break. And this was with 2 outs in the 9th inning. I leave, go to the bathroom, come back in, commercial break. I'm like, oh, they won the game.
Sure.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Last final out, quickly to commercial, boom, post-game show with Scan. And just to make sure, I look at my phone, I go to the MLB app, and it says 5-4. I'm like, whoa. What? Like, it was such a quick death today from the Cardinals to the Padres that it was happened like that.
Well,
it was so fast.
Well, especially with Hader. I mean, Hader came in with a sub .8. He had 2 outs, nobody on, double homer loss. Now, this comes a day after. This comes a day after they had an 8th inning lead that they blew, and then they lose in the 10th inning with Josh Hader on the mound. By the way,
same guy too.
Same guy.
Tommy Edman.
Yeah, Tommy. I know.
By the way,
same pitcher. But hold on. This was the first time Josh Hader had allowed an earned run. Today was the first time he allowed an earned run since May.
Incredible.
So he's been pretty good.
And this was also his 3rd straight day pitching.
Yay.
Also, real quick, I got a text here from our buddy John Conniff of Mad Friars. Tommy Edman, San Diego kid, went to La Jolla Country Day, right?
Yeah.
Our friend David J of Mad Friars also went to La Jolla Country Day.
Wow.
So basically, we have to hate David J and Tommy Edman today, is what I was told by John Conniff.
Because
they both went to the same school.
Okay, but I mean,
do we really want to hate him?
The one thing about Tommy Edman, whenever he's ever on television in San Diego, it's like they have to mention La Jolla Country Day
every day.
Like, what's another example of that? It's like whenever they show Steve Fisher on television, like he used to give out tickets to Aztec basketball games. Like, that's one of those things they would always say, right? You've heard that story about Steve Fisher how many times in your time in San Diego? A lot. Like, there's certain things that they just get like tied together.
Whenever the Padres are on Sunday Night Baseball, they have to mention Anchorman.
Right. Or, Antonio Gates played basketball in college. Did you know that?
What?
Things like that.
I used to work in the minor leagues for 15 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, here are reasons to watch the Padres this September. You want to start? We each have 3 reasons.
Okay. My first reason, pretty simple. Ha-Seong Kim. That's it. Ha-Seong Kim. He is a guy on the team that gives it 100% every single day. No matter where they are in the standings, he's going to go out there and he's going to give it his all. I think that for a team that's frankly sucks, and you're a fan of this team, you want to make sure that these guys don't quit, and Ha-Seong Kim ain't quitting. So I'm going to go with Ha-Seong Kim as my first reason to watch the Padres in September.
The number one reason for me to watch the Padres this late August into September, can they win 4 consecutive games in a row? They are the only team in baseball, and it's been a month that we've been able to say this. They are the only team in baseball that has not won more than 3 games in a row. I don't even know if they're going to get close to a 4-game winning streak over the final 29 games. Will they win 2 in a row? Hopefully. Will they win 3 in a row?
I've said it that I believe the second that this team gets eliminated, probably, I don't know when it will be.
It's happened.
But they'll win 4 games in a row right after that.
Okay. So once they're officially eliminated, they're going to win 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay.
My second reason to watch the Padres in September, kind of banking off of your 4-game winning streak, is can they win an extra inning game this year? Can they win 1? Is it going to happen? Or are they going to finish the year 0 in extra inning games?
It's very possible at this point, by the way. They may only have another extra inning game.
Yeah, they only have 11 this year. That's not all.
Right, 29 to play. I mean, they may have another 1 or
maybe
2.
1 or 2, yeah.
Here's my thing. Can they do a little bit of like a tank for Tua type situation? Remember, if they finish with a bottom 6 record, and this will not be easy, they're going to have to go something like 6-23. It's my guess. Something like 6-23. Don't put that past them. If they put their minds to it, maybe they could do it.
They did it in 2019. They did it in 2021.
Right. So if they finish like 6-23 or worse, they finish with the top 6 pick. If they don't finish with the top 6 pick, whatever their pick is, add 10 to it. So if they're the 8th worst team, they're picking 18th. 10th worst team, they're picking 20th because of CBT, taxes or thresholds or whatever, or penalties. So can they finish bottom 6? It will not be easy.
No.
They're going to have to try to lose a lot to do that.
Yeah. Again, I don't put it past them.
Right.
And my final reason to watch the Padres in September is Blake Snell's Cy Young bid. I think a couple real highlights of this year when this thing, ends will be Ha-Seong Kim, his season, and it will be Blake Snell, and if he can win a Cy Young.
Yeah, on field
stuff. Like that. I think that's going to be something special to have, for this organization. But then you're thinking to yourself, well, he's not going to be with the team next year, so that sucks. But for this season, and we've talked about it before, we talked about it yesterday, to waste this year from Blake Snell, that's a real bummer. That's a real bummer. But Blake Snell has a legitimate shot at winning his Cy Young this year, his second Cy Young. So that's every Blake Snell start in September will be, something to watch.
My final reason to watch in September is I'm watching the crowds. Sizes,
crowd watch,
energy. Are they there? Is it a giveaway night? Is it not? Like tomorrow, for example, are you more excited for the matchup or are you excited for performance snapback giveaway?
Ooh,
for the first 40,000 fans, which is great. And the Padres, to their credit, have done a remarkable job with marketing.
Yep,
the last couple of years. They've done a remarkable job, and they have good giveaways in September. They don't even have that many games remaining. A lot of them are on the weekend. We've talked about it.
There's 10 games? 13
No,
games?
it's like 13. There's like 2 weekday series. Are they going to continue to draw throughout the month of September? My hunch is yes. Padres fans have been incredible towards this team this year. I think most of these tickets are already sold. They have great giveaways, like a Xander Bogaerts City Connect jersey shirt giveaway coming up in September. So
Tatis bobblehead.
My guess is the crowds are going to be large, but like, are they there for the baseball or are they there for the bobblehead? Are they there for the beer or are they there for the baseball? And I think we kind of know the answer.
I mean, the ticket prices aren't going down, so you can't bank on. Well, maybe the ticket prices will go down in September, so you can go to a baseball game. You won't be priced out.
It doesn't. Listen, and I understand it. I mean, that part of it is like, if you want a winner, you got to support them. If you want a winner, the tickets aren't going to be cheap. Like, I get the premise on it. Mm-hmm. And they're probably, I mean, we're led to believe that they're probably losing money this year no matter what had happened heading into the year.
Well, fans support winners. If the team wins, they show up.
But this fan base has supported a non-winner, and I'm putting it nicely.
Well, you also have to probably look at how many of these tickets were sold like beforehand.
Before the season?
Yeah. You don't,
yeah,
I don't,
a good portion. A lot of season tickets.
I don't see like 10,000 people going to the gates on that day to get tickets.
No, but this is like the largest season ticket base they've ever had, right? Heading into the year.
Over, I think, around 30,000, 28,000.
So that's caked in. That's built in.
Yeah. Built in 28,000 plus.
That's huge.
And I think we talk about it a lot. The fans will show up if you win. Okay.
No, but the amazing thing about Padres fans,
the Padres fans show up no matter what,
which is amazing.
But you will start seeing, I do feel like on non-giveaway days, like that Rocky series on those weekday games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if there's a giveaway in there. There might be because it's the Rockies. It's not gonna look great.
The Padres have never drawn more than 3.016 million fans year one at Petco. The Padres have never drawn more than 3.016 million fans. They will this year. Mm-hmm. So Padres fans have been incredible. They're already at 2.8 million fans. This is going to be one of the top draws in baseball this year. Yeah, to our collective point, can they replicate it in 2024 coming off this? Yeah. That's not going to be easy to do. Why are you watching in September? 70470, start it with team. Coming up next, who wants Aztec tickets for Saturday night? San Diego State's men's basketball team will be recognized. They'll get Final Four rings. Tickets are available at goaztecs.com. San Diego State, Idaho State. First 2 callers to 844-570-1360. You'll be our contestants for Trainwreck Radio today. Call right now. We have trivia for you. A chance to win tickets to Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. The number to call, 844-570-1360. That's 844-570-1360, and it's next. All right, Trainwreck Radio. That is next. Stay with us. All right, join us Friday from the Blind Borough, and by us, I mean me.
Yeah.
Jim will be on a cross-country trek Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm taking a red eye Thursday night to Philly.
Now, why the red eye? Do you have to be there Friday morning, or just because? Save money, time.
Time, save a little bit of money. Also, I didn't want to take an extra day off work. You're welcome.
Aw,
Thanks.
wait, no, hold on. Oh, he's supposed to leave earlier in the day, Thursday.
We could have left earlier in the day, but that means I would need to take another day off of work.
Yeah, it's called having a job.
And so I chose
so
the job.
Red eye.
Yeah, I chose the job over
the
over
Thursday show.
Thursday.
The big Thursday show.
Yeah, big Thursday show.
Padres
tomorrow.
getting ready for the Giants.
Yippee!
10 games under 500.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of anti red eye.
Yeah, I hate the red eye. I took it once. It was awful.
It'll wear you out.
We're leaving at 10:45.
Yeah, and you show up at what, 7 in the morning? Or
Yeah.
something?
It's not even that. The time I took it, you would get, as soon as I fell asleep, other people in my aisle had to go to the bathroom. So then I would have to get up because I was like in the middle. And then if that, or it was the opposite where I would have to go to the bathroom and then I'd have to try and crawl over all these people at like 3 a.m. that are all passed out. And it's a lot easier to do that stuff at 3 p.m. opposed to 3 a.m.
And now what time are the Eagles playing?
They play Friday afternoon. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have no idea.
I'm kidding. But I don't think they probably our teams, do they play? It's preseason final week is going on right now.
It's a good question. They might, because week 1 is next Thursday.
Right. So yeah, I guess maybe
they've been a couple teams play.
I mean, talk about something. When I was a kid, I would watch preseason football. I have not watched preseason football as an adult. Like, are you watching the Niners as like
I watched like the first quarter.
Preseason's done.
Yeah. So
done.
preseason is done.
It's done. They got a week off.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, I know it's funny because Aaron's dad was like, "Yeah, I got a tea time for us on Friday and Saturday." And I'm like,
Friday could be rough.
Probably not going to make it Friday.
If it's just golf, though. I mean, I feel like you could. No. So what are you going to do? You're going to get there, go to sleep?
Well, I'm going to sleep on the plane.
Yeah, if you can. That like to Brent's point, it's
I
like
can do it. I can do it.
All right.
Yeah, it'll be easy.
Remember to make your bed.
No, I won't. Aaron will do it.
All right, let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's contestants, we have Sean and Mikey. Sean, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with today?
I got to go with John.
Smart. He had to go with.
I had no choice.
Right. I like
I
it.
have to do John because if I do Jim, I'm going to hate myself.
Because John has a relation with Kobe. I mean, he knew Kobe. Went to the same.
Thank you, Sean.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't.
It's because of my relationship with Kobe Bryant.
I can't compete
And
with that.
you.
I have a relationship with like you.
Exactly. All right, Sean. I appreciate that.
Mikey, you got me. All right.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. Perfect. Brent, what's today's question of the day?
All right, guys, like we said, that's only about a week and a half away from the start of the NFL season. Today's question: name the 10 players last year that had 500 or more yards after catch. So we're looking for yak, guys.
Ooh, the yaks.
We're looking for the top 10 players that had 500 or more yak yards last year. That's yards after catch in the NFL.
Oh boy. Okay. Mikey, you are up first. What is your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
First guess, I'm going to go with George Kittle.
I like that.
I don't know.
No. George Kittle, is he on the list? No. I liked it.
It would have been on the list like 2 years ago, but that last past year, it didn't have many receiving yards.
Really?
He had a lot of touchdowns, but not a lot of receiving yards.
All right.
It's okay, Mikey. It's okay. We still got this. Sean, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
I'm gonna have to go lifeline early.
Lifeline?
John's not very confident.
I'm not, but I'll say Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill. Do you take that, Sean?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Come on.
What?
Oh,
14.
14.
My bad.
Because I think he missed some time too. Wow.
This is fixed.
Mikey, you're up
Well, it
next.
didn't help his quarterback had 37 concussions.
Oh, yeah, that's
last
true.
year.
Yeah.
Mikey, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Second guess, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson,
Jefferson.
safe bet.
On
Good
the
guess on the list. Sean, you're up next. You do not have your lifeline anymore, so this is all up to you. What's your second guess?
My goodness, bro.
5 seconds. You got a guess, Sean?
I really have no idea, so I'm just gonna Tom Brady. Why not?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. No, not on the list.
Okay, so what do we have
He
here?
threw it to himself that one day. It was awesome.
So now Mikey is a correct answer away from a win?
Mikey's a correct answer away from a win. He also has his lifeline. So if you want to use your lifeline, you can. Or if you want to take a final guess here, Mikey, for the win, what do you got?
Final guess, I'm going to go Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Of the Bengals. Is this enough for the win?
Oh, no. Please.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
He had Jim available to him. Not that Jim knows.
But Sean can still win.
Yeah, Sean,
He was 23rd.
you got one more crack here.
Mikey can still win if Sean gets this wrong. Sean, final guess. No lifeline to send this thing to overtime or give Mikey the win. What do you got?
Was she right?
No, he was wrong.
Wait, what did he say?
Was he right? Oh, no. Who did you say?
I said Jamar Chase.
No, Jamar Chase was wrong.
Yeah, Jamar Chase was wrong, but Sean here could send this thing to overtime with a correct guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sean, what's your final guess?
Rasheed Rice.
Oh, Rasheed
Rice.
Is Rasheed Wright on the list?
Wait,
No.
it was
And
Rasheed.
that's it.
Mikey won
Mikey
after all.
wins.
Rasheed
Wow.
Rice, who's that?
He was 11th. I don't know.
There's no. Is that even a person?
I mean, it's definitely a person. I can promise you that. I don't know.
Rasheed Rice?
I don't
Brent,
know.
there's no Rasheed Rice in the NFL. Guarantee it.
Hold on.
There's no Rasheed Rice.
Rasheed Wright, he said.
Right?
Rasheed Wright.
Right or Rice?
Rasheed Wright was a top high school basketball player in North Carolina.
Who is Rasheed? Did you say Rice or Wright?
I don't know.
Well, it didn't matter.
It
Mikey
doesn't matter.
won.
Mikey wins.
Mikey
All right, who did we
wins,
miss on
yeah.
this list? Oh, Rasheed Rice, dude. Yeah, he's on the list. No, he's not on the list. He played in the NFL.
He's a real person?
Rashee Rice.
Who's he play for?
I'm not sure.
Chiefs.
How many catches did he have
He
last
was
year?
a second round pick.
Yeah,
in
he had
2023.
14 catches at SMU. You idiot! You didn't know Rashee Rice?
How many catches did he have?
14.
Not keeping up on your Southern.
155 yards.
14 catches for 550 yards of yak.
Dude, I mean, it's better than not guessing anyone.
That's actually like shows his knowledge to guess a
I like
second
that
round
guess.
draft pick for the Chiefs.
Right.
I would have said Devontae Adams is on this list.
No.
What?
He's 11th.
That would have been your guess. Travis Kelce.
He's
Yes.
third.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs.
No.
What?
Dude, I remember my first time watching the NFL.
Okay.
All right. Number one is the top two are running backs.
Austin Eckler.
Yes, he's number one.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, he's
Saquon?
number two.
No.
Saquon Barkley?
He's two. Kelsey was three. Justin Jefferson was four. Leonard Fournette was five.
What?
Yep. Jim's favorite, AJ Brown from the Eagles. He was six.
Okay, you
Okay.
know what?
Jerick McKinnon was seven. Chris Godwin was eighth. I can never say this dude's name. Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions.
Right.
Very good job, Brett.
He was nine, and then Jalen Waddle was 10th.
All right. Well, congratulations to Mikey. That
Wow.
was a train wreck.
That was absolutely a
Mikey,
train wreck.
congratulations.
2 more
You
years.
have won.
2 more years.
You've won 2 tickets to see San Diego State, Idaho State, Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday at 7:30. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Be sure to tune into our pregame coverage beginning at 5:30. Ted Leitner, Rich Ornberger on the call at 7:30. Back to the Padres and their culture as they head home to take on the Giants this weekend. Plus, we'll give away tickets to see the summer block party featuring Jodeci and SWV on Sunday at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. It's hour 3 of John and Jim next. Oh, wait.
Padres, they lost again to the Cardinals. Another walk-off hit. Tommy Edman today, home run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Padres now return home. Is there music? No, it's not. I'm an idiot. I couldn't hear. Padres return home for a homestand against the Giants and
Did
the
you
Phillies.
pass your physical?
No. They forgot to give me one. Padres return home for a homestand starting tomorrow night versus the Giants. Also,
You're on the pup list.
I am. Also, tonight, 6 p.m., the Brady Hoke Coaches Show with John Rich and Coach Hoke right here on San Diego Sports 760. And this update's been brought to you by Staples Stores.
That's how you know it's been a tough year. My analogies are planes going down with either no fuel or engine failure.
Just death, like the most, like the worst way to die.
That was I was looking for a better analogy.
Yeah, this year's Padres season is just like when that soccer team's plane went down in the Andes
No.
and they had to eat each other.
No. That's not
Yellow
what I
Jackets.
was trying. I wasn't trying to make that analogy, but sometimes in live radio,
it just comes
it
out.
just comes out.
Like death.
Right.
Well, I mean, this
So,
season's bad, but
what's
I wouldn't
amazing,
equate it
though,
to death.
I made the
Padres have been dying a slow death.
I
for
made
months.
the plane, whatever the crash analogy, following a win actually. Because
We did.
yesterday we were talking about the Padres, they were coming off a win. Now last night they lose like an epic fashion again. They fall to 0-11 in extra innings. How? Okay, well they lose yesterday. Well, they're going to win today, right? They led all game. They led in the 9th inning with 2 outs and nobody on for Josh Hader. Literally as good of a pitcher as there is in baseball. He's a .7, and then double homer, you lose. So I'm not making any analogies. Is my point here in the 5 o'clock hour. I can only imagine what really is ahead here for this clubhouse and this team. Everyone's going on the IL every day.
Yeah.
You've got Musgrove, you've got Darvish, you have who just went on? Steven Wilson, you have Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah.
How are they going to pick themselves up? We said, here's what we're watching in September. You got to find a way to be some semblance of a team. I was kidding when I said I want to see them finish with a top 6 pick.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go 4-25 under Bob Melvin down the stretch. You got to look like a baseball team. Are they going to be able to do that the final month of the season?
If these guys have any pride, which I hope they do,
right?
Then yeah, they're going to be professionals and they're going to go out there and they're going to give it their all and they're going to finish this thing out and have some pride and not just completely quit. What would show you that they completely quit? Because I've already seen it multiple times this year, and it's been confirmed by Juan Soto.
So what do you need me to see? I'm with you. I mean, I'm
like a 6-20 September.
But they're in the midst of a 6-16 stretch.
True.
Like they've already done it.
If guys just start to sit for like no reason.
That I kind of understand though. It's like, you know
it,
what?
Is it up to them?
Well, it's not that I'm saying I disagree with it, but for me, that would be the sign that they quit. If you know, tomorrow all of a sudden Juan Soto's got the day off, or X has the day off, then
they've made it clear that they have nothing to play for.
Well, you look at these guys' seasons. Xander Bogaerts, by the way, hit into his, I believe, 21st or 20th double play of the year. Last night on the wrap-up show, we were talking about how, you know, not even Eric Hosmer hit into that many double plays. The most he ever hit into with the Padres was 18 in the season. Xander Bogaerts is blowing right past that with a full month to go.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
20 plus grounded into double plays for a guy that's making $28 million a year. That to me is unacceptable. Manny Machado, his season, and he might be hurt, but I'm not using excuses. He's out there playing. If he's truly this hurt, then he shouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's out there. He's playing. dude has an OPS in the mid to low 700s. I mean, coming off an MVP season. Now, he isn't the only person in baseball that has come. Like, you look at Paul Goldschmidt's year after winning the MVP, not good. And their team's even worse than the Padres.
Bogarts is currently 4th in grounding into double.
Is that right? There's 3 with more.
Wow.
But here's my thing, though. That isn't what I need to know. That's just disappointing. Bogart's GIDP numbers are not quitting. Manny Machado's year is not quitting. The collective, you could argue, has quit when Juan Soto literally said it, and they're 6-16 in their most meaningful month of the season.
Well, you could see it. You see a lot when they just frankly don't have really good at bats at all.
But let's use the last 2 days as examples.
Mm-hmm.
They lead in both games in the 8th inning or later, and they lose. Why? I mean, is that a situation where they quit? I mean, clearly not today. There's no quit in the Hader situation. That's just Hader allowed a home run. And yesterday, they don't score in the 10th inning.
If I'm breaking down these games, because frankly, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
But if I'm breaking down these games, today you scored 3 runs very quickly, and you did really nothing after that.
Well, except take a lead in a 3-3 game.
You did, but
right?
there was 3 or 4 straight innings there that Mikolas could have, been taken out of the game if they ran his pitch count up. And it was like quick inning.
Well,
and they've done that way too many times.
And they're because they at this point just aren't. At this point, it doesn't even matter. It goes back to our initial conversation of the 3:00 hour. It's like there are a million ways to blame or to justify what's gone wrong. And at the end of the day, we say it has to do with a little bit of everything. And like the Padres franchise's culture, it kind of starts there. I'm not saying that their culture is the reason why Josh Hader allowed a 2-run home run. Their culture is why they lost yesterday in extra innings. But when I hear Nelson Cruz say, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Do you guys know? When I hear Juan Soto say publicly the team quits, that's crazy. That's crazy stuff. Yeah. When Blake Snell in August in the Cy Young year is yelling at the official score for earned runs against his ledger, this is the type of stuff that doesn't happen with cohesive, competent organizations.
Nope, you're right. You have a team you have a collection of really good talent that can't put it together. The offense for the last couple of years has been really bad, and yet Ryan Flaherty, who is the offensive coordinator, still remains, and there's potential for him to even be the next manager of this team, which would just blow my mind, and it should piss everybody off, to be honest with you. So, it starts with the culture. It starts with the philosophy. It starts with consistency, and this team lacks all of that.
It's amazing. I mean, it really is incredible. And then you go into the offseason between 2023 and 2024, and that's all there is to talk about at this point. And kind of going back to 2019 when Ron Fowler's like, heads are going to roll. I don't know how you have this year and draw 3.2 million fans and add at the deadline. And we were joking about it, but people are serious about it. The whole run it back. I don't know how you draw 3.2 million fans, go 70-92, and run anything back. Well, and I don't know how, not only do you not run it back, I don't know how you do it without making wholesale, real, legitimate change. And I don't know what that means, but I'm saying it's got to be real.
You cannot have a season like this and, like you said, not make wholesale, legitimate changes, not just behind the scenes where they're changing around people's job titles that nobody in the fan base knows who these people are except for like super diehard people. Like,
I don't need a new roving infield coordinator.
Yeah, I don't need a new strength and conditioning coach update.
I don't need a new manager in like Elsinore.
Yeah, I don't need a new like director of like scouting department stuff. Like that doesn't do it for me. That does not move the needle at all. The thing that moves the needle, and it's only 2 real positions. It's AJ and it's Bob. And
that's really all you can do. At the top, that's the top.
Yeah, it's the top. You tell me if they go behind the scenes and make any type of quote unquote change, how can you believe that anything will be different if AJ Preller is still in charge of it all?
How can you believe anything will be different if AJ is still in charge of it all? Right. I mean, it's possible. It's possible because I saw 2022, but it's not guaranteed. But I would also say,
great,
you're right,
for 1 year.
But I would also say that if you brought in And they're not bringing in Theo Epstein. I mean, I'll say that right now. It's not happening. Why would it happen? So if you're not bringing in this, greatest executive of all time and you're getting rid of AJ Preller, you might say, well, someone else deserves a crack at it. I'm just wondering what the crack even looks like, because in 2024, I don't care who the GM is. These contracts are 10 years in length, and these players are coming off bad years.
And Dennis and Kevin, it's been reported on by multiple people. This organization does not, and by organization, I mean AJ Preller, does not like to go out and get people that can possibly push back on anything that Preller does. He likes to get people that he either knows, who he likes to promote from within. He's not going to somebody in the Baltimore Orioles organization and asking them and seeing if he can poach from winning organizations and teams that have.
In what way are you talking? In what positions? Manager or scouting? Front office?
Anywhere in the front office, scouting directors, analytic department. He's not going out and getting the necessary people that can push back legitimately against him. It feels like this franchise is a bunch of yes men under AJ Preller. And I don't believe that it's the full 100% truth. That's what the perception is. The perception of it is that all AJ Preller has underneath him is yes man. And the perception is that all AJ Preller does is go and scout. And the perception is AJ Preller does not know how to build a big league roster. And the perception is AJ Preller just likes to put a bunch of talent on a team and see if it works. That's the perception of the franchise. And I also think part of those things that I just mentioned there are also true as well.
Yeah, to what extent we'll never know. This is what I would say, that if nothing else, if AJ Preller stays, a general manager has to be hired. Now, it's not going to appease everyone, and you might just say, well, it's another yes man under AJ Preller. But if AJ Preller stays, a general manager needs to be put in place, and there's a caveat, from outside of the organization. The other caveat,
good luck,
is that if Bob Melvin is not retained for one reason or another, as in he leaves or he's forced to leave and he's fired, that you have an open managerial search. So those are the two things I am requiring from my seat. It can't just be Ryan Flaherty. He can be a candidate. It's fine. But it can't just be Ryan Flaherty, and it can't just be AJ Preller heading into 2024.
If they get rid of Bob Melvin, you got to wipe out the entire coaching staff besides Ruben Niebla. Wipe it all out. Everybody.
Because that's worked so often.
Well, again, you can't have any part of the past, if they happen to get rid of Bob Melvin, being a part of this team anymore. I think besides Ruben Niebla.
But the problem is the coaching staff isn't the issue. It's not the full issue.
Well,
it's like if you're cleaning out house with your coaching staff, that hasn't changed anything in terms of your core.
I mean, Ryan Flaherty has been in charge of the offense for three seasons now, or not full 3 seasons, but he's been involved in the offense for the last 3 seasons. And the offense, frankly, for the last 3 years has been a disaster.
And how much of that do you really put on Ryan Flaherty?
I put a little bit on him. I mean, look, John, he's been there, and the offense has not been good with the players they've had on it.
But I mean, is that the type of clean house that really changes the ability for Bogaerts, Machado, Tatis, and Soto to do their jobs?
Analytics is a big problem because the analytics department isn't giving what these players truly need.
And yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on all of it. And at the end of the day, we're just making excuses for Bogaerts, Machado, Soto, Tatis all having bad years. Right? Are we blaming those bad years on Flaherty and analytics or on them? And cleaning out the coaching staff, does that really do anything for your 4 players that have underperformed?
No, I don't know.
844-570-1360. I don't think so. That's the problem with this. It's culture. It's top to bottom stuff, and it's not easy. 844-570-1360. Greg, thanks for your patience. You are on with John and Jim.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I'd say one of the issues is the long-term contracts that they've got with 2, 3, 4 of the guys kind of becomes an issue. What are you going to do? You're going to bench him for not, performing well. And, now you're stuck with a unhappy player for however many years are left on some of these contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the issues is if you clean house with the coaching staff and get rid of Bob Melvin, that just increases AJ's ability to stick around, because they're not going to get rid of a coaching staff. It's not going to be everybody gone. They're going to have the general manager stay in place. What really should take place is if you do get rid of Preller and coaching staff, then it's a fresh start across the board, right? But most likely that's not going to happen. I think part of the issue is it's almost like a Jerry Jones situation where it's like he likes to keep guys 1 year longer than they should, right? He falls in love with people. It's like the owners, Seidler's in love with AJ. It's like, well, but is that getting you what you've always been asking for is a World Series ring?
Greg, appreciate the call. Listen, I mean, there are organizations that do the clean sweep. They do get rid of GMs and managers at the same time. Happens all the time.
White Sox just got rid of their president of baseball ops and GM.
But with that being said, all I know is what Peter Seidler said in June didn't sound like a guy that was about to do the clean sweep.
Mm-hmm. No, he didn't.
Now, he hasn't spoken since, but then again, he didn't speak beforehand either.
I cannot wait for
the October 2nd press conference.
For the press conference at the end of the season with Preller and I mean, that is like legitimately must watch and must listen to.
Put that thing back on Bally. Bring Bally Sports back for that.
For one day, I need to see, because maybe we can even, never mind. We won't.
No, you would ruin it with the back of your head anyway.
I would. If I went to this press conference,
would you ask another, like the last time you went to a press conference, you're like, oh, what did you buy like Manny for his number?
Would you, how hard would you cringe if I asked the question to Peter Seidler?
What if you read the resume of AJ Preller? You preface the question by saying this.
That's what I was going to do.
He hasn't had 190 wins. You read it.
What if I read off the resume to Peter Seidler and I asked him, does this warrant AJ Preller to remain as the general manager?
With AJ at the desk?
Yes.
I'd give you a 2-year deal to continue working.
What would you do if I did that?
I would leave, because you know me. I'd be like freaking out. Oh, it's a fair and legitimate question. I'd be like, oh my God. Can't you just ask, like, hey, do you like the fans? Are you gonna have another Tatis bobble next year?
Do you like baseball?
Was it a fun year? All right, 844-570-1360. Let's go back to the phones. Roy, you're on with John and Jim.
Hi, gentlemen. Thanks for the time. And, I'm riding on the 15. If I got you guys on my phone, do I get in the carpool lane? Is that all right?
Yeah, you can.
We're with you, so we're all good.
All right, dude. I called you a couple of times, and you know what? I appreciate, because, we all got our hearts into the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something. If I'm Mr. Seidler, I take a look at the mirror, and I say, what in the world has gone wrong here? And I'm not into a clean sweep of the organization, but I'll tell you something, you look back over the years, and maybe we got to look at last year. It wasn't a build year. Maybe it was a freak year.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, like I think Bob Melvin said it earlier in the year, we are what we are. And maybe we're just a trashy baseball organization. And maybe last year was just a freak that happened. I hope not. We've got great players on this team that, are stars. I think it'd be a mistake, honestly, to get rid of Bob Melvin, because I'm asking the question, who are you going to get to replace him? He's a brilliant baseball mind. But I think all these players need to take the winter off and do a hard look in the mirror and say, how did we screw this up? Because we know, guys, all of us know, we drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, I've listened to you guys many times throughout and you guys make my drive home fun going home. When are they going to get going? When's the engine going to get started? My God, we don't even have an engine. We have a dead baseball team. We are an embarrassment to all the to everybody. So,
Thank you, Roy.
In my head, dude.
Thank you, Roy. Great call. Appreciate your listenership. I mean, he brings up good points. Like, this team, at the end of the day, from the outside looking in, it has been embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. He's right when he said they're the car without an engine. They're pretty much the Flintstones car. They're driving the car with their feet.
Yep. It is embarrassing. There's a couple of, the Mets this year, the Angels, but like, the thing is, this story with the Padres happens and has been happening way too many times. It's not just a one-off. This is now the third year. And really, if you want to look at it, John, you could say his first year as well. And if you say, well, it's his first season, I don't care. It's still on his resume. Okay. 2015 was a disaster. And then he went for it. He traded a bunch of prospects. He traded Fried, traded Turner, and got back Will Myers and, James Shields and Justin Upton and the Matt Kemps of the world. And it equated to what? A losing season. They fired Buddy, and then they hired Andy Green to be the placeholder while the team sucked for the next 4 seasons.
Well, okay, fair. I would say it this way: if nothing else, has it not been entertaining? It's like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Would you have preferred in 2015, Padres fans at the time, they just went about it the normal way? Let's develop. Now, again, with the benefit of hindsight, yeah, you would have preferred to keep Fried. You would have preferred to keep the prospect in your system. But in 2015, nobody wants to watch an organization grow up. Nobody wants to sit there and just, to have 5 years of rebuilding, even though they did. But they basically said they were going to. When I was here in 2017, they publicly spoke about a rebuilding process.
Yeah, all they did for 3 straight years was promote they had the number 1 farm system in baseball. That's all they did. That was their big push every single year. Yeah, the team's fine, whatever. Who cares? We suck. But no, look at our farm system. And none of the guys in the farm system
are even here
anymore, except for Tatis, who is just an anomaly.
Yeah.
So the thing with Preller, and I hear this, and it just kind of drives me crazy. It was like, you can't base it on. You have to look at what he's done recently. What he's done recently is have 1 season of an NLCS run, great, and 3 years out of the last 5 that have been a disaster.
Yeah, but 2 of the 5 have been good.
1.5.
True. All right, so let's switch gears. We're going to stay on the topic of baseball. Bryce Harper homered for who yesterday? His motivation was what?
Oh, it's my favorite story of the day.
And can we is this ever going to happen locally here in San Diego with us? Is Manny Machado ever going to homer for us? Is my question.
I have the perfect person for Manny Machado to homer for, and I'll tell you who that is.
It's actually 2 people.
2? Oh, yeah, you're right.
And it's next. Stay with us, John and Jim, plus Jim's back page. Plus, we have tickets to give away. We'll do that coming up next. That is to the Summer Block Party featuring Jodeci and SWV. Sunday at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Stay with us on John and Jim. Chuck in Mount Airy, right? So Bryce Harper is driving in. What do you think Bryce Harper drives to Citizens Bank Park?
Like what kind of car?
Yeah, it's probably nice.
Oh, nicest car you could possibly imagine.
Prius.
Yeah,
SE.
right. But whatever it is, he apparently has. I was gonna say he has AM radio, but actually it's FM. So he's listening.
WIP.
Well, of course, because we saved it. Remember?
Right. Well, anyway, he's listening to Philly Sports Talk, and Chuck from Mount Airy calls in.
This is the call that Bryce Harper was listening to as he was driving into the game on Sports Talk Radio in Philadelphia.
Bryce Harper, man, might go down as as the best Philly ever. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, I don't want to see nobody else win a ring more than I want to see that guy win a ring.
All right, so that was Chuck saying that
was very short and sweet.
That he thinks Bryce Harper could be the best Philly ever, and he needs to win a ring, and how much he loves Bryce Harper.
Then Bryce Harper homers last night.
His
300th, right?
No, that was today.
Okay, so 299.
But he has been on a tear of late. He homered last night. Phillies won the game. And this was what Bryce Harper said post-game. This is amazing. Take a listen.
Yeah, I mean, I think our lineup is built for that, right? Our lineup is built to outlast teams in the postseason because the way we swing, our offense is going to, lead this team the best we can. We got a great starting staff, but if you don't score runs, you're not going to win. I think on a personal level, just trying to keep things going, understanding. Anytime I'm out there, I just try to have good at bats, and it's funny. I was driving in today, and I'm listening to WIP like I do a lot, the 2 o'clock hour. And a guy named Chuck called in. He calls in a lot of his players. But I said, he was talking about our team and talking about me and stuff. And I walked in the training room. I was like, I'm going to go deep tonight for Chuck. That guy had me fired up, man. But it's just funny. I mean, this team as a whole, we, come in here, play with Phillies across our chest. We're all family. We're all pulling.
Man,
I just have a feeling.
What a legend.
I have a feeling.
Chuck, by the way.
that Manny Machado is listening, but he's not saying that. He's not saying it publicly. Like, I have a feeling he's listening.
We go deep tonight for Chuck, baby.
He's listening to us in like 2 o'clock. He's listening 3 o'clock. He's listening to San Diego Sports 760.
Is he?
But maybe he's just not homering enough to have a moment like that where he heard, Dave call in.
See, here's the thing, and I said it last night on Twitter. I would lose my mind in the best way possible if during a post game, I don't care who it is. I guess it could be Manny because Manny's the leader of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's Bryce Harper.
It's Bryce Harper. Manny Machado post game was like, you know what? I was listening to John and Jim, 4 o'clock hour.
Now, he didn't mention the show.
No, he didn't. But that is that is a guy who listens to a lot of sports talk radio, because when you mention like hour blocks, that means okay, I was listening to 2 p.m. hour.
Well, he probably has this routine. He's like, I'm driving in.
But if Manny Machado one day was like, I was driving in and listening to John and Jim, and I was listening to the 3 p.m. hour, and I heard Dave call in, and bless you. What is happening?
Anti-sneeze.
Whoa. Heard Dave call in, and he was really ripping me a new one, and I decided to say, F you, Dave. I homered for Dave tonight.
What's more likely, right? What's more likely is you hear from someone, and this happens actually in Philadelphia a lot. I don't think it happens often in San Diego. What's more likely is you hear a player call out someone on air for their critical take.
Not for something positive.
Right. It's more like, hey, this host said this.
So I'm doing it in spite of them.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty cool.
Very cool. If I'm Chuck, I am like, bro.
Dude, you're going to have t-shirts.
I'm a legend.
Yeah, like, do it for Chuck.
Do it for Chuck.
Right?
Like, that is so cool to me. And I feel like it brings a level of relatability, because you kind of are wondering to yourself, do these players ever know truly what the fan base is thinking and feeling?
Right. Because Bryce Harper is not like a Philadelphian. Manny Machado is not a San Diegan.
No.
So do you understand the psyche of the fan, or even do you care? I think some players get it.
Yeah.
I think some players don't. I think others could literally care less.
And I think that there's a good amount of those on the Padres. I don't even know if that. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't even think that part matters. Do you think they're going into work and listening to like Darren or us. Like
maybe not. But here's what I would say. I don't even think that matters that much. What I do find relatable, what I really did like, is early in the season when like Joe Musgrove like bought his teammates like San Diego State gear, or they were wearing like Aztec stuff around the field. It was the first couple of days of the season. Xander Bogaerts was saying really cool things about like San Diego State men's basketball. I think that's very relatable to San Diegans. But you're right. It feels like then you kind of get into the season and they feel like a little bit siloed. Like what I hear there from Bryce Harper is someone that's personable and relatable too. Yeah. What I hear a lot coming out of the Padres is, how come my ERA isn't lower and we quit on the season?
It's baseball. I should be hitting fifth instead of second.
Right. So
we
it's
quit.
Like, I mean, like, again, if you got to know your audience. And Bryce Harper talking to Philadelphians, like you're talking to like blue collar fans that people like Chuck are calling into Sports Talk Radio a lot. So when you talk about Chuck, that's relatable. You know what's not relatable to San Diegans? I want to lower my ERA. Or you know what? I know I make $20 million, but I'll be honest with you. At times we just quit.
Hey, I just signed a contract for $280 million, but I don't want to hit in the 2 spot. I want to hit 5th because I want to get my numbers.
Like, here's the thing with baseball fans. I don't care if it's San Diego, Philadelphia, or wherever. The 3 million fans that have gone to Petco Park this year are spending their money and time and resources to do it. You got to be relatable to them. Now, you are stars of stars. Manny Machado resonates. The Padres marketing has been spectacular. Peter Seidler's spending is unparalleled in the history of the organization. But you can't just leave it all at that. Like, you got people that have been so supportive of you, and you got to look yourself in the mirror at some point and be like, what have I done for them?
And I know the charities that Manny has in town, the things that he does for youth groups. It is, I mean, what he does is amazing. There's no question about it. He usually does it in silence. He's not a guy that likes to promote it all the time, but he does a lot for the community. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I do think a majority of the fan base doesn't see that. And they only see what he does on the field, and then post game when he's after tough losses saying it's just baseball. And that is what the fans look at. Like, and I'm not saying all of them do, but a good majority do.
You know what this team misses? And I'm being honest when I say this. You know what this team misses? And now it was a much better time.
Eric Hosmer.
It misses Will Myers going into a bar and buying around for everyone. It misses relatability. It's not talking to its fan base. The way it talks to its fan base right now is just kind of by showing up. The fans have been there because they're so enamored by this group, these names, these stars. But it needs to go beyond that, especially moving forward.
It's just something that when I heard that yesterday, I'm like, that's it. That's it right there. And Bryce gets it. The relatability factor the Padres don't have it.
Yeah, and again, I think every market's unique.
They really are. Tell me right now, is there any? I would say there's one guy on the team that is relatable. I would say it's Ha-Seong Kim. But other than that, I don't see any player on this team that is very relatable to this fan base right now.
I think Joe Musgrove is the guy that comes to mind for me first.
Joe,
as a San Diegan that has performed well, and he says the right things typically.
I agree too. Yes, Joe's definitely there.
But they could use more. They could use a little more of what we heard from. I mean, what you heard from Bryce Harper yesterday is a bit of a rarity today.
Very rarity.
But
you don't hear that at all from. Hey, like LeBron's driving in to work. He's like, yeah, I was listening to ESPN 710 LA, and I heard Joe talking about how I'm the greatest of all time.
Maybe tonight. Well, not tonight.
Not tonight.
Maybe tomorrow night.
They don't play. The Lakers don't play tonight.
I meant the Padres.
Oh, okay.
All right. Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see the Summer Block Party featuring Jodeci and SWV Sunday at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. 844-570-1360. Caller 3. Those are your tickets. Summer Block Party this Sunday. Jodeci, SWV. 844-570-1360. This is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. 844-570-1360. Caller 3, they're yours. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Jim's back page next.
Do it for Dave.
I'm going to go deep tonight for Chuck.
Or Chuck. All right, Jim's back page coming up next. Stay with us. All right, so Juan Soto to Kevin Acee. It might not be our time. We've been playing good baseball in the last couple of days, and good things just couldn't come to our way. That's the quote that Kevin has from him, or couldn't come our way. So they've been unlucky.
Thanks a lot, Juan. Really, really appreciate that from you, buddy.
What did Musgrove say the day before? Like, not cursed, right? Are we doomed? What was the term he used? Musgrove used yesterday? That they're doomed?
Doomed. Yeah, it feels like we're doomed.
I mean, that's a pretty strong word.
Juan Soto also said, this is a straight up Jim facts. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to lose games like that. You want to be on top at the end of the game. All those losses are painful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else I wanted to say. It's hard at this point. Hater says you just tip your cap.
Tip your cap. Tip your cap game. Love tip your cap game. Good old tip your cap game.
Well, Hater, I feel like Hater can get away with it because it's like,
well,
he's pretty good.
He's very good, but he's also very limited with the amount that he can be used because he won't pitch. I mean, this is another instance where it's a rarity to see him pitch 3 straight days in a row.
Yeah.
He won't pitch more than 3 outs ever.
Still,
it's either say tip your cap or blame me. If I'm him, I'm going to say tip your cap. Don't blame me.
He still
don't blame me.
He still had not allowed an earned run since May heading into this game. Now he pitched with runners on second, phantom ghost runners. That is fake baseball.
So I can interpret this quote from Juan Soto as another form of, yeah, we're done. We're quitting. Is that too far?
I mean, at this point, you don't need to hear from Juan Soto.
No. I know.
when Fangraphs gives you a 0.9% chance of making the postseason, you know.
But
when Manny trots out there tomorrow with flip flops on, I think that's a sign that they quit.
It might not be our time. We've been playing good baseball in the last couple of days, and good things just couldn't come our way.
Have you been playing good baseball?
I mean,
other than the 2 back-to-back walk-off losses, they've been doing awesome.
If that's a quick quote, then so is Musgrove's. We're doomed.
Yeah, of course.
Right? The Musgrove thing's a little stronger. I think we're doomed.
Yeah.
Then it might not be.
That's a stronger word.
All right, let's get to it.
We're doomed. We all know Airbnb, correct?
Sure.
Right? People who rent their houses out for people on Airbnb all the time. But with the heat wave and I guess we're kind of coming to the end of summer, but August is still very hot outside. People are now
great breakdown.
Gym fact.
People are now renting out their pools for people to use when it is hot.
Just the pool.
Just the pool. The website is called Swimply. You can kick back with friends and family at a private pool in your area by simply making a reservation online.
But can you use like people's bathrooms?
I don't know.
Like, what do you have to go to the bathroom?
It says that people with pools post their personal pools and booking at a flat hourly rate, and you can go and rent out this pool and hang out at the pool for a set period of time.
So I go to some dude's house.
Yeah.
I knock on the door and I'm wearing like my floaties
Yeah,
and my swim trunks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say, I'm here for my pool party.
Yeah. Actually, Claire, our friend, her and Josh, I think they were trying to do that, but Josh was like, yeah, I ain't doing that. So they went to like a different place. But Claire wanted to get a pool and rent out a pool for a day. And it'd like, just go to someone's house. Like, yeah, pool's in the back. And they just go to the pool and you're in the pool for a couple hours or whatever.
Interesting.
And people
I'd say 99% of pools go unused every day. Or like it's a high number.
Yeah.
We do have the ocean, so.
True. There's that. You go there for free.
That is true. Ocean's very cold. It's not as fun to like just hang out in the ocean and then a pool, which is cleaner.
Oh, come on, there's no kelp in the pool.
True.
Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion, will it's undergoing a bunch of different renovations right now, and of course with Halloween just a couple months away, it is turning into the Haunted Mansion Halloween theme edition.
Okay.
But Haunted Mansion is expanding, and if you ever been there, there's a large line. Like lines are just long at Disneyland. Okay. Well, construction on a new project will begin in January 2024, with new additions expected to build on the story and lore of the Haunted Mansion that will be displayed outside while you're waiting in line.
So you get to look at things as you wait, basically?
It's basically like you get an experience while you wait in line. So I think that's pretty cool. Also, Blue Moon. Check out the Blue Moon.
Yeah, tonight. So is that a very large moon?
Very large moon. Super moon.
Tonight.
Blue moon.
Last night it was huge.
Yeah, it'll be it's more than 100,000 miles closer than what is it? No.
How many zeros, Jim? One, then what's the number?
This will be the closest full moon of the year, just 222,000 miles or so away, which is 100 miles closer than August 1st supermoon.
If you missed anything today, sportsst.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, YouTube. Find us by searching for John and Jim 760. That type of insight you're not going to find anywhere else for the next 2 years because we just signed a 2-year deal.
Right here
through 2025.
Can we rent a pool on the moon?
For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. It's the all-new San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
All right.